Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, 2 people have been killed in a horror crash on the Midland Highway just south of Campbelltown. The crash between a truck and car blocking the highway. Our reporter Garth Burley joins us live now with more. Now, Garth, are police still on the scene?
Good evening, Kim. Yes, there is still a police presence here. They are just beginning to try to open the road after clearing the scene where 2 people lost their lives. And a warning, the following pictures are quite confronting. The crash happened south of Campbelltown just after 2 this afternoon. It's understood a sedan was attempting to overtake another car when it slammed head-on into an oncoming truck. Sadly, the driver and passenger died at the scene. As for the truck driver, he escaped serious injuries, but as you can imagine, is still in shock. Police say that this is another tragic event in this state's and year's horror road toll.
Lost 20 lives compared to 18 last year. None's acceptable. And the simple fact is that we're losing people because, in most cases, they're not following the rules.
Of course, the Midland Highway is a main thoroughfare between Launceston and Hobart. The crash meant that road had to be closed for several hours today. It's about to be reopened, as I mentioned, Kim. There's a convoy of about 12 trucks waiting to get through there as police also prepare a report for the coroner.
The state government says a trial ferry service between Hobart and the Eastern Shore is just weeks away, with commuters urged to vote with their feet. But there's still no firm date on when the ferry will begin its run, with the terminal in Bellerive yet to be completed.
A long-awaited ferry service finally within arm's reach. This could soon be the daily commute for people living on the Eastern Shore.
Good one, sir. Welcome on board.
A 1-year trial for the service between Bellerive and Hobart set to kick off in the coming weeks.
I want to really lay the challenge down now at the feet of the people of Hobart. Use this service. Don't lose it. Use it.
The mayors of both municipalities backing the project, hoping it will help ease congestion.
I'm hoping this is the beginning of a new era for Hobart.
We want to see this trial succeed, and we will make sure that the infrastructure that's required for it to be there in the long term is available.
One of the key problems faced at this stage,
there's not a lot of parking in Bellerive village at the moment,
as well as the terminal on that side of the river, still under construction.
The Minister for Announcements, Michael Ferguson, has talked about this service a lot, and it's still not available for passengers. There's no clear date on when this will start service.
The operator says it will be able to announce a start date and a timetable for the service once sea trials are completed.
Once the infrastructure is handed over from Bellerive, we'll be looking forward to getting into it straight away.
A one-way crossing is expected to take around 15 minutes, and the service will be free for those with a Metro Green Card or those riding with a bicycle. The success of the trial will be reviewed after a year.
We want the trial to be a success, I do. And with a 1-year lifetime plus the extension opportunity of a further year, we'll review and keep a close eye on patronage.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
A group of harness racing industry participants has been booted from Elwick Racecourse for not following public health rules. Tas Racing and the Office of Racing Integrity were made aware of the 3 people who had been in Victoria between July 5 and 14 who were not wearing masks last night. Once discovered, the group was directed to leave the course immediately by the stewards.
It's not that hard to follow the rules, and in actual fact, to follow the rules means the benefit and the welfare to the whole state. But for those people that continue to do the wrong thing, our officials will come down on them like a ton of bricks.
The Office of Racing Integrity is undertaking an investigation and has notified Public Health. There's no end in sight for struggling Tasmanian tourism operators, with Melbourne's COVID lockdown set to continue for at least a few more days, locking a key market out of our state. With the federal Labor leader in town, the embattled sector looks to become a major talking point in 2 key battlegrounds.
Headed for hungry stomachs at nearby schools, these ham and cheese sandwiches are one of the many services the East Devonport Neighbourhood House runs.
The various programs and service organisations that can move through a place like this also value adds to life in the suburb of where the neighbourhood house is.
With candidates now locked in, the federal Labor leaders' tour of Bass and Braddon has begun. The marginal electorates are 2 key ingredients in cooking up an election victory. He's putting tourism on the agenda as the industry faces more uncertainty thanks to lockdowns interstate.
The whole of Tasmania is suffering at the moment. It's more difficult for tourists to come here. It has meant that the traffic on the Spirit of Tasmania has been constrained, and it makes a real difference to jobs and economic activity.
With no time frame to lift border closures to Victoria and New South Wales, the brakes have been put on the industry's recovery.
We will be coming into a very slow period for us with kids going back to school. We were relying on a lot of tourists to come through, so it will impact us greatly in the next few weeks.
Closures to our two biggest markets for the first time since last winter, derailing a strong period for many in the sector.
We've probably seen 30% of our visitation has been mainland visitors, which has been really good.
What was looking like a really, really strong winter has now been thrown into disarray.
Statewide, hotels are seeing cancellations roll in. They're managing it as best they can, saying flexibility is key.
Fortunately, a lot of those people are postponing their trips and they'll be having them at a later date.
Hopes in the industry, once again hanging on whether other states can get back on track. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A 66-year-old man was assaulted and robbed while walking along the street at New Norfolk last night. Just after 7 p.m, police say the local was approached and threatened by two males on a motorbike on Charles Street. They then assaulted him and stole his mobile phone. He was treated for minor injuries at the scene. Police have been reviewing CCTV from surrounding businesses to identify the suspects. Meanwhile, investigations have continued into a spate of alleged aggravated robberies across Hobart City, Rosny and Moona over the weekend. 3 males aged between 18 and 20 have been charged with aggravated robbery and wounding offences. Correctional officers and staff at Risdon Prison held a stop-work meeting with unions today following ongoing staffing tension and conflict within the facility. In a statement, Corrections Minister Elise Archer says the unions are playing politics and the government is recruiting correctional officers as fast as it can. A meeting between unions and the government is set for Wednesday. Tasmanian human rights advocates marched with others across the country today, calling to end offshore detention of asylum seekers. Amnesty pushing for government change on the 8th anniversary of a significant political decision.
Marching through Hobart's Elizabeth Street Mall, chanting to nearby shoppers. A bright quilted message leading the way as these protesters fight for detained refugees.
These people are living from day to day, not knowing what their future holds, not being able to contact some of their family, not being able to start a life.
Amnesty, alongside advocacy group the Tassie Nanas, pushing to end offshore arrangements in Nauru and Papua New Guinea, first announced by former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd 8 years ago today.
There are thousands of people who were affected by that political decision at that time, and they're still living in uncertainty and anguish.
We believe that these people are innocent people and are entitled to live a decent life, and that they've lost 8 years of their lives, and that they're our responsibility.
Calling for the government to step in, rallying down Macquarie Street to Senator Jonathan Dunningham's office.
To be here with uncertainty, not knowing that they've got rights to Medicare, learning English and all those sorts of things. So they just depend on people like us to help while this government refuses to act in the name of humanity.
We just have to continue to put pressure. We've got letters to all the other senators and all the other federal members.
In a statement, Senator Dunninghamn says the government supports the right to peacefully protest, and he is looking forward to meeting with representatives of the group in the future. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
According to the latest snapshot of the nation's economy, Tasmania's COVID recovery is continuing to outperform expectations. The Deloitte Access report for June, welcomed by the state government, forecasts a 6.1% growth this calendar year, the second highest in the country. But Labor warns the good news is unlikely to last, with signs jobs growth is slowing.
The report says that young people are struggling to get into housing. It says that job growth is slowing and that job ads have plateaued. It says that Tasmania's share of the economy relative to the rest of the country is going to shrink.
The report says continued growth won't come easily unless we can attract more people from interstate to work remotely. A popular new playground opened earlier this year is set to receive a further expansion. Tenders have now been released for Stage 2 of the Kingston Park. The section is set to feature more open areas and dedicated spaces for larger activities.
A couple of exercise areas, some toilets. It will have a little pump track for the kids to learn to ride their bikes on, and it will have a circuit around the outside for cyclists and pedestrians.
It's hoped construction will start in September and be completed within 6 months. We could do with some good news at the moment, and several Tasmanians are rejoicing after taking home major lottery prizes over the weekend. A Newtown couple became overnight millionaires after holding a winning Tats Lotto Division 1 entry purchased at Newtown Plaza News Agency. These self-proclaimed battlers say they plan to use their takings on home renovations, their mortgage and retirement. And a Ravenswood woman scored $10,000 from an instant scratch it. She says the $5 ticket was a Christmas in July gift from her daughter. To local footy, and the Cripps TSL Player of the Year votes now after round 16. Clarence's James Holmes took top honours after a nail-biting victory over the Northern Bombers. Fletcher Seymour was Launceston's best against the Tigers. And Luke Payton was judged best in an all-Lauderdale voting sweep. To the leaderboard, where the two Jays are jostling for the lead, Blackberry 1 vote ahead of Foon. Jake Hines is third on 17 points. Tributes are flooding in for the man labelled the most influential figure in Tasmanian athletics history. Noel Ruddick passed over the weekend at the age of 94. The sporting fanatic was the last original player of Sandy Bay's first football team, before a rich history in athletics where he rose to become a life member of both the Tasmanian and national sporting body.
Secretary of Tasmanian Athletics when he was 20 years old. Didn't stop him from winning 8 Tasmanian championships while he was secretary, and he finished up as treasurer in 1997. And every hour that he gave Tasmania was of great value.
Others have described him as a wonderful man and an icon of Tasmanian sport.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 13 degrees today, Launceston and Burnie 14, and that was as warm as it got. 14 also at Wynyard, St Helens, Friendly Beaches, Lowhead, Bushy Park and King Island. Flinders Island and Strawn 13 today and Lyoweeney 7. Cloud extended right across Tasmania, most of the showery weather over the west and the southwest. Cloud is streaming over Western Australia as well, extending to a band south of the Bight. Another line of cloud is over Western Victoria and to the south. Tomorrow the cold front moves over the southeastern states ahead of a strong southerly airstream. A low is just west of WA. Winds will swing around from the northwest to be more south-southwesterly as that front crosses the state tomorrow. They may reach 35 to 40 knots over northern waters during the afternoon and evening. Swells rising to 5 metres in western and southern waters. So a bit blowy, and a gale warning has been issued from Sandy Cape to Wineglass Bay. A strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters along with the Central Plateau lakes. And a warning to sheep graziers in the south, the southeast, east, northwest and Furneaux Islands. Forecast for tomorrow: Tuesday in Hobart, showers mainly afternoon with the winds easing, top of 10 for Adventure Bay, showers or snow for Tarraleah, 7 the high. Launceston a top of 13 degrees and showery, Devonport 13 also for Bridport. Burnie similar, showers clearing later, just 12 degrees the top though, 12 for Strawn, showery and windy, same for Marrawar. And for St Helens tomorrow a top of 13, showers increasing, Swansea 13 as well, Whitemark a windy day as well and 13 degrees. On Wednesday showers over the west and King Island, a cold start over central regions, snow to 600 metres, fine over the east and southeast on Thursday but showers over the west and far south and maybe later over the north. And on Friday fine and partly cloudy for the east and Hobart, showers over the west and north coast. Rain in Perth tomorrow, showers for Adelaide and Melbourne, a cold showery day for Canberra, fine but cloudy in Sydney, a sunny 20 in Brisbane. And current conditions all cloudy, the population centres 12, 9 and 11. That forecast isn't bleak enough for you, Kim. Throw in some snow to 500 metres, afternoon hail and thunderstorms in the northwest and northeast in the morning, just to cheer you up.
It is pretty rough out there, you're right. Thanks, Murph. And that's all your news for this Monday, the 19th of July. We'll have updates later. Take care. Good night.